In 1976, the small town of Circleville, Ohio, was rocked by a chilling mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Residents began receiving anonymous letters filled with personal secrets, disturbing accusations, and veiled threats. The letters targeted dozens of people, but one family bore the brunt of the torment, leading to a series of events that turned deadly and left investigators scratching their heads. Mary Gillespie, a local school bus driver, was one of the first recipients of the anonymous letters. The writer accused her of having an affair with Gordon Massey, the superintendent of schools. The letters were menacing, warning her to end the supposed affair or face dire consequences. Mary denied the allegations, but kept the letters secret until her husband, Ron Gillespie, also began receiving them. One letter read, "We know what you are doing. If you don't stop, your family will pay the price." Despite their unsettling tone, the couple initially dismissed the letters as a cruel prank. But the writer wasn't deterred. The letters kept coming, growing more threatening and invasive. They included explicit details about the Gillespies' private lives, suggesting the sender was someone close to them. The situation escalated in August 1977 when Ron received a phone call, allegedly from the letter writer. Enraged, he grabbed his gun and stormed out of the house, telling his children he was going to confront the culprit. Hours later, Ron was found dead in his pickup truck, crashed into a tree. Though the circumstances were suspicious, authorities ruled his death an accident, claiming he had been drinking. However, the gun had been fired once, and no explanation was given for why. The letter writer soon sent another note, mocking the family and claiming responsibility for Ron's death. Mary continued to receive letters, even as the town buzzed with rumors about who might be behind them. In 1983, the harassment reached a new level. While driving her bus route, Mary spotted a crudely made sign along the road accusing her young daughter of inappropriate behavior. Furious, she stopped the bus and ripped the sign down, only to discover a booby trap attached to it, a loaded gun rigged to fire if someone tampered with the sign. Fortunately, the trap didn't work as intended, but the incident terrified the community. Police traced the gun to Paul Freshour, Mary's brother-in-law. Freshour denied any involvement with the letters or the trap, but he was convicted of attempted murder and sentenced to prison. Many believed that with Freshour behind bars, the nightmare would end. Yet the letters continued. Even as Freshour served his sentence, residents of Circleville kept receiving notes. The prison system insisted Freshour couldn't have been sending them, but the letters persisted, postmarked from Columbus, Ohio, where the prison was located. Freshour maintained his innocence, claiming he had been framed. After his release in 1994, he tried to clear his name, but the identity of the letter writer remained elusive. The case took another strange turn in 1993 when the TV show Unsolved Mysteries aired a segment about the Circleville Letters. Shortly after the episode aired, the show's producers received their own letter. "Forget Circleville, Ohio. If you come to Ohio, you will die." To this day, no one knows who wrote the letters or why. Theories abound. Some believe it was a vendetta against the Gillespie family. Others think it was a twisted game by someone with deep knowledge of the community. Some even speculate multiple people were involved, explaining how the letters continued despite Freshour's imprisonment. The Circleville Letters remain one of America's most perplexing unsolved mysteries, a chilling reminder of how small-town secrets can spiral into paranoia and fear. The anonymous writer's identity and their dark motivations are secrets they've taken to the grave. Deep in the lush green mountains of Kyoto, Japan, lies the infamous Kiyotaki Tunnel. This seemingly ordinary passage, built in 1927, stretches just under 500 meters. But its history is shrouded in whispers of death, despair, and the supernatural, a story that has haunted locals for decades. The tunnel was constructed by forced laborers, many of whom were prisoners or enslaved workers. These men toiled day and night under brutal conditions, with many succumbing to exhaustion, disease, or outright abuse. Their bodies were unceremoniously buried near the construction site, giving rise to tales of restless spirits seeking vengeance. The tunnel was completed, but its dark past seemed to seep into its very walls. In the 1980s, a local taxi driver named Hiroshi had a harrowing experience while driving through the Kiyotaki Tunnel late at night. As he approached the entrance, a heavy mist descended and his headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the tunnel walls. Halfway through, his car suddenly stalled. Hiroshi stepped out to inspect the engine. The air felt unnaturally cold, and a suffocating sense of dread enveloped him. He looked back towards the tunnel entrance and froze. A woman in a white kimono stood motionless at the far end of the tunnel, her face hidden by her long jet-black hair. Panic set in as the figure began to move toward him, gliding silently over the uneven ground. Hiroshi scrambled back into his car and desperately turned the key. The engine roared to life just as the figure reached his window. He sped out of the tunnel, his heart pounding. But when he glanced in his rearview mirror, the woman was gone. That night, Hiroshi couldn't sleep. He told his wife about the incident, but she dismissed it as fatigue or imagination. A week later, Hiroshi was found dead in his car. The vehicle had veered off a mountain road, and investigators found no mechanical issues. However, the chilling part was the condition of his body. His face was frozen in a mask of terror, as though he had seen something unimaginable. Word spread quickly, and Hiroshi's story wasn't the only one. Locals began to report similar sightings of the woman in the kimono. Some described hearing disembodied whispers as they drove through the tunnel, while others claimed their reflections in their rearview mirrors didn't match their movements. Even more unnerving was the story of the mirror curse. It's said that if you glance into your rearview mirror while driving through the tunnel and see the ghostly woman, you must not meet her eyes. Those who do are doomed to experience tragedy within days. An urban legend also ties the tunnel's length to its sinister nature. The official measurement is 444 meters. In Japanese culture, the number 4 is associated with death, as it's pronounced the same as the word for death, shy. Locals believe this number cursed the tunnel from the very beginning. In 2013, a young couple, Ayaka and Ryo, decided to explore the Kiyotaki Tunnel after hearing the ghost stories. Armed with flashlights and a video camera, they ventured into the tunnel on a rainy autumn night. The video recovered from their camera is the only clue to what happened that night. The footage shows them laughing nervously as they walk through the dark, narrow passage. Halfway through, their flashlight flickers and the laughter stops. Ayaka whispers, "Did you hear that?" Ryo brushes it off as the wind, but moments later, a faint, chilling wail echoes through the tunnel. The camera captures Ayaka's face turning pale as she points toward the darkness ahead. "There's someone there," she says, her voice trembling. The footage shakes violently as they begin to run. Then, the screen goes black. Rescue teams found their abandoned car near the tunnel's entrance the following morning, but there was no trace of Ayaka or Ryo. The only evidence left was their camera and their belongings in the car. Locals believe they fell victim to the tunnel's curse, perhaps encountering the vengeful spirits that haunt its depths. Today, the Kiyotaki Tunnel remains a popular spot for ghost hunters and thrill seekers, but locals warn against visiting after dark. Many who have dared to venture through the tunnel at night report feeling a heavy presence, hearing unexplained noises, or experiencing mechanical failures in their vehicles. The tunnel is not merely a relic of Japan's past. It is a chilling reminder of how human suffering can linger, etching its anguish into the very fabric of a place. For those who dare to drive through the Kiyotaki Tunnel, one question looms. Will you make it to the other side? Or will you join the spirits trapped within? Few are willing to test the curse, but for those who do, The terror of the Kiyotaki Tunnel remains unforgettable. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. We hope you enjoyed our stories. If you have any interesting, creepy, or downright strange stories you'd like to share, we'd love to hear them. Send them to our email, and who knows, your story might just make it into our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tale. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.